that happens.
Well, Mojo, first map goes down. Let's get into it. Kazna crew bringing out the 5 mouse strategy. Oops, just merely 3.
This is something we've seen before by teams. When you play with 5 mouses, it means only one thing. You go all in and you go for the immediate brawl.
Well, we're gonna have to see if they go for the immediate brawl, like you said, Mojo. Let's get in. Kazna crew on the attack, Oops on the defense. Mouses all around. They're going for a little bit of a split in the beginning, but so is Oops, Mojo.
Yes, you can easily gather them up because they're as slow and they just need to be in position to help each other. None of them can really get easily focused unless you cross the street like Nile did.
Melan taking some damage. Miloš taking a lot of damage actually in his 1-1-3. He spots out the mouses. He needs to run away. Already dropping below half. That's not a good start for Oops. Not sure what Miloš was trying to achieve there.
Well, if he wanted to spot them, he sure did. I mean, Miloš, as the most constant heavy tank player for Oops, should really not risk that much of HP and start.
Well, he did, and now he's half HP, but that 1-1-3, let's see if he can recover for it. Melan took some damage as well in his T57 heavy. That was from Yizna in the RU251. And now Vetso Highbar starting to push across that HJ line. Spoink is still waiting there, but Kazna crew will have an arguably pretty good surround here against Oops.
I'm really surprised Deha got tracked there for a second and he immediately repaired himself, like he was expecting he might get shot from a bunch of tanks behind. But Kazna is coming in from the lower side here. They're using Durs as a center anchor, I would say, here. And the punching force is Haiba and Vetso, an old duo, man.
The old duo of Haiba and Vetso, the 2-man hit squad moving around the south side of the map. They're going to try and catch Spoink in his backyard if they can, but Spoink should be fine in that tank. He can actually even jump from the ridge and do it that way. Insane's now going to start rotating towards it, and actually a lot of tanks here from the side of Oops are starting to move there, Mojo.
A lot of them, they're trying to use their advantage in numbers here because Nexus is the only guy who can effectively cover them. Even Durs is a bit behind. They do know that Stefan and Diplomat are a bit too far away.
Nice connection there on towards the side of Vetso as well. Spoink is now going to cross over in his bad shot. They tried to get him out. He does take one shot for his trouble. Vetso now forced to play safe as well. Nexus going back towards his position there on that K4-5 position. But so far, so good. Oops. Reading the moves from Kazna crew, reacting, but they always have that natural deficit reinforced by the fact that Miloš traded so much in the beginning.
Yes, they have 3,000 HP less at the moment. Yes, we can give them granted, they have more mobility, but some of them mobility is already crippled because Spoink took one shot while he was rotating now, and Miloš is on less than half of HP. He's on like 40% less than something like that. That really won't help them when the brawl starts, and it will.
It will start at one point. Spoink here trying to get an angle towards Haiba. Perhaps get a shot or two on towards that mouse. Vetso still facing off against Insane. Melan going to be retreating as well. Vetso spots out Insane, but so far, no damage between the two. Vetso angling very well over there.
Yeah, he's rather doing it well. He's trying to lure out a shot so he could pick up with the turret. It would be a beginner mistake if he would just turn it now because Insane would just shoot him and aim elsewhere.
Well, Insane makes the shot, does not connect it, so now Insane's going to have to be forced to angle towards Vetso to not get any damage in return. Diplomat actually crossed through the middle. He takes some damage from Deha in his mouse. Nice angling there as well. Diplomat does not get a return shot, so a little bit of HP bled here from the side of Kazna crew, but positions gained.
It's still 3,000 melts slowly, but Kazna has a great DPM potential in those mouse tanks. Mouse tanks, after the buff in 17.1 patch, are a shooting beast plus combined with armor. So only big deficit they have is like mobility, lack of mobility. But this is a small map and they can force the fight.
I like the positions from Oops so far, Mojo. They're covering every angle that could possibly lead into somebody getting shot on the flank. You know, with Insane over there, they can't pick up from the G4 balcony on towards Deha, for example. And I like this. This is good stuff from Oops so far. The only weak link I really see is this position here from Miloš.
Yeah, Miloš is still in a problem here, but let's see how will they respond, because I think truly Kazna should not rely on any kind of cap game, because they are so slow, it would be a huge risk. I mean, any kind of cap pressure can be out-rotated by Oops players, they can find another angle to shoot them, and it would not help their case. So this is just a bait. They just want to provoke Oops to come closer to them, so they could actually push them, because pushing with tanks that go 20 kilometers per hour is not an easy thing if and someone is just defending on corners.
Well, double cap pressure is on. In the meantime, Spoink has climbed the A1 position as well. The tanks from Oops are now starting to make their approach. Silence trading there. Diplomat actually trading even a lot worse than the both of them. How about there's this gap? 29 seconds left. I don't think this can be the strat.
No, as I said, like they must push in one moment. Highbinders have to go to the cap and just pressure the tanks from Oops. But there is 20 seconds to go till the end of the cap. Deha has a dead loader.
Somebody's going to have to reset here for the side of Oops, and it has to be Deja. He peeks out. He will get the connection, though. He takes a little bit of damage in return, which is to be expected. Still, around 4,000 HP between the two teams. Melan picking up in his T57 as well, doing one shot towards Haiba. Not going for more because he knows it'd be an overextension.
Very tactical game here. We can see everyone in both teams is just trying to do damage without taking so much. But there you go. I think this will be the final pressure point for Kazna.
Silence already down towards a one-shot, and Vetso closes out the kill towards him. Very crucial. 20 seconds left on the cap in the meantime, and Kazna crew with a strong start in the first round. 10 seconds left. The cap does get reset. Spoink now coming in with Camel from the side, but this is a little bit of a desperate attempt. Spoink clipping out on towards Vetso. The meantime, the cap back down to 8 seconds. The reset needs to come out. 7 seconds. Who's going to get the cap reset? Finally, Thurs gets resetted, but Kazna crew still ahead by 3,000
Only
HP.
guy with any kind of HP here left for Oops is insane in his mouse, but everyone else is on fractions of HP. Silence, I think we cursed him in the start when he said he plays it brilliantly.
Insane in that lots of HP. Tank Mojo is now starting to bleed a lot as well. He gets Diplomat, which is crucial, but his team is starting to drop everywhere. Melan trying to clip out towards Nexus, but Stefan is covering him very well. Yisnes poking from the side, from that corner at D3. Melan gets a shot towards him, does not connect. Stefan gonna come around the corner, close out the kill, and just Oops, losing tanks, losing HP. Kazna crew look in prime position to pick up that first round.
More mouses and more mouses. This is something we've seen Utopia play often in a late part of the season. Their response to any kind of tactics or fast-playing teams were this: throw a lot of mouses in them and win a game.
Well, Mojo, the first round is going to go towards Kazna crew. Kamil and Spoink, the last two standing for their team. Kazna crew, it took a little bit, 7 minutes around there, but they managed to make the correct rotations, get the cap, and force Oops into a commitment they weren't willing to take. Silence went down rather quickly in that mouse, and Spoink now the left one standing. But we talked about it beforehand. Ghost Town, attack biased.
Attacker always has an advantage here because he can dictate what will he do. He can always make a trap. He can pick a tanks accordingly for that kind of tactic, while like a defender you don't have many options what to do.
Stefan doesn't miss those kind of shots, and that will put Kazna crew 1-0 ahead of Oops the first round. Good showing for Kazna crew.
Yep, pretty decent standard. I would not say anything revolutionary happened here, but execution was on level, and this is something you would expect on them, an offline event.
Yeah, especially good that they had Ghost Town attack here to begin with. I think really Oops were in trouble after Milos bled that much HP. His 113 would have been able to do a lot if he had the HP required to make those pokes. Now he was just forced to sit in a passive position, which is not really his playstyle.
It still doesn't explain the fact how Silence just died in a
Disappeared?
mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he lost so much HP on everywhere he tried to pick. Haiba, who was more or less average player on medium tanks and such, actually on heavy tanks like mouse, he excels. This is not a rare occasion we've seen on a mouse him doing the best damage overall.
Throughout the season, once the mouse patch came, Haiba has been playing rather well on those, like extraordinary well even, topping the charts on multiple occasions for his team, and feels like mouse is his kind of tank. Mediums maybe a little bit too quick, but mouse a little bit slower, a little bit more time to make the decisions.
And correct shooting, because mouse has a brilliant gun, accurate gun. Oh, look at this, Milos only 900. This is not often when you see him on the bottom of that.
No, I really think that the beginning of that game costed him a lot, because he likes to play aggressive, he likes to make those peaks, and now he didn't have anything to work with.
Not a decent start for Oops here, but it's just the first game. Of course, it would really help their case if they started with a lead, but if you remember the last game when Kazna won in a tiebreaker, Oops had a 4-1 lead, if you remember, and they managed to throw that. So I would say any kind of buffer against Kazna for them would be good.
Preferably like 9 rounds.
9 out of 7 possible.
Yeah, exactly, and then perhaps they would still go to tiebreaker, but we're almost ready to get the second half on the way on Ghost Town. And I think, Mojo, that Oops should be able to even it out here. It should be a 1-1 coming out of this map. It is to be expected.
Oops doesn't have a really good track record, as the guy said, against Kazna. They lost all 3 engagements they had, because we had round robin 3 during the season. Each team met each other 3 times. They lost every time, and it was not that close.
Well, Mojo, times can change.
Oh, sorry, that was against Ding, the tiebreaker match, but never mind.
Things can be different. Never mind, Mojo. We just look away from it. We won't mention it whatsoever. But let's see the lineups for the second round on Ghost Town coming out, Mojo. Triple mouse for Kazna, quadruple mouse for Oops.
For mouse for the Oops here, they want to play, they use the armor, they use the DPM, they have 113, so they can put him in a cap if they really need, and they can boost that cap with RU and butt shot if really needed, or they can just use them to cover their backs. So this is kind of all-around setup. They can go fight, they can cap and do whatever they want. This is why the attacker is always in advantage here.
Very aggressive approach there from Kazna crew with the dual double 50B Nexus and Stefan, the holy duo. The Trident is dead, so we go with the holy duo. Going aggressive, getting some damage done towards Camille, and this will make Oops think twice before going to that side of the map.
Isna here is playing with his MS-30 in elevated position, so he can a bit help with the decapping, because they're just using one mouse, that's theirs, to angle himself and shoot down the buildings. His position is crucial here, because if there is any cap pressure coming down, he already needs to lower the buildings so other guys can shoot.
Well, he's doing very well so far. Not a lot of buildings remaining. You can see HE ammunition loaded for him. Implies by the smaller number under the reticle 3 shots, which means it's HE ammunition. Destroying the buildings so nobody can sneaky cap behind it.
Yes, you cannot pull off a multiple tank cap if something like that is going on. A slower game here. Oops is trying to, let's say, see their chances on the map, but it does look like they're massing up for a push on the top side of the map.
The thing here, Mojo, though, to point out is that Kazna crew is very split across the map. Durs and Hybar, the only ones really in position for that #1 base. And yes, you can't hide behind the buildings, but if they get on towards that cap, it's going to take Kazna crew 30 seconds to get there.
This is actually really standard lineup by Kazna, because they're gambling a lot that there will be some kind of push from Oops guys from the lower side. That's why they have so many tanks with clippers on the lower side of the map unspotted. And they're, I guess, counting that they will be fast enough to push from the lower side with all of them, while they're keeping the cap under control with Isna and Durs.
Well, Isna spots out Insane over there in his mouse, but still, I fear just a little bit for Kazna crew, Mojo, because once it starts, it's gonna go quick.
If Oops actually pushed like Gohard did against Ding, and that's a kind of a blind push, they would have a huge chance to win, because Durs is more or less alone, while Ding had a number of tanks there, if you remember that street.
Yes, I do remember Silence is now starting to push towards the cap, actually, or towards the road. We'll have to see where he ends up. There's makes a shot, doesn't connect it. Silence is going to park himself on the cap, or he's going to keep going. Insane there as well. What do you think, Mojo?
A mouse and one tank behind him capping, while one mouse is going close to the Durs. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Well, there we go. Silence is on the cap, and it's going to be shielding Spoink and Campbell, who are going to be sitting on his side, and they're going to try and cap that way. Now, Kazna crew needs to get in rather quickly. 33 seconds remain between them and defeat. Silence is just going to sit here and take the beating if he has to, because the tanks are capping behind him.
Well, we were talking about ruining the buildings.
He doesn't know.
Who needs buildings if you have a mouse?
Well, so far, Isna doesn't know that they're capping on the side. He's going to try and reset Silence now again. He doesn't know Spoink and Camille are just sitting on the side. A miss there. 16 seconds. Kazna crew, you need to get in this one, because you're going to get capped out if you're not quick enough.
17, 10, 11 seconds here. There is a little decap here, but that is just too little at the moment. Hyba will have to go suicidal here.
Hyba will have to push in the caps. They get spotted. Camille takes a reset, and I think Oops needs to abandon this plan right now, because they have gotten resetted. 20 seconds again.
No, they will not be able to cap, that's for sure, because those HE shells will just interrupt them every time. HP for Kazna, minus 3,000, 2,000 at the moment.
Yeah, even with this, it's working out. Silence is trading rather badly though for his side. Loses about half his HP on the mouse. He's been torn between two angles. Hyba from the front, and there's an Isna, and the tanks from behind. Silence, you need to play safe, mate.
He needs to go behind Insane. He cannot play this, because on that street it's only death.
In the meantime, Oops going for the counter push around. The HP lead they had, Mojo, it's completely gone. Silence and Insane are in a bad position. What does Oops do to recover from this?
I think they're in deep problem, actually, because they must run away, and that leaves them only with Melen, and they had to play around with. Maybe Spoink can do something by rotation. He got Veto, that's important. If he managed to get in the back of these Clipper tanks of Kazna, he might actually be a huge pain in their butts.
Mojo, you know what's the most important part right now? The fact that Insane and Silence are alive.
Yes, and Spoink and Camille are rotating, as we said already. They're trying to get and rotate back and keep those Clippers like Stefan pinned down.
This is good from Oops Mojo. Yes, their initial trade wasn't the greatest, but now they're putting some aggression and they're making the autoloaders from Kazna go all around the map.
Oh, Deha, be careful there. I mean, be careful how you angle your tank. It's really needed that you preserve your HP.
Well, he's doing well so far, Mojo, as he's currently sitting still, full HP. Oops need to be careful from an overcommitment anywhere. Yisne has actually left the A1 position.
There is no point of him being there, and considering Vetso is dead, someone has to keep an eye on the flank of Kazna, because one swift push, if they take out one Clipper more, that's it. That's a domino effect we were talking about, and they're just gonna fall.
Yeah, if they do one swift motion, Mojo, it could all be over very quickly. Obviously, I'm referencing to the swift motion, not the swift motion, for the people, you know, aware. But yeah, Oops, I like this, Mojo. They have slowed down the pace, realized their advantage, and it is a big one. Taking down a tier 9 is a massive advantage in a map like Ghost Town.
Still, I have kind of a feeling that Insane and Silence could have went out a bit with more HP out of this one.
Yes, especially Silence.
Yeah, he just, I think he lost around 1k to 1500
For no
reason whatsoever.
Well, he peeked from, he reversed into the street where the autoloaders were waiting.
Then he came back.
Yes, which is interesting.
Well, Deha will be the battering ram here for the Oops guys, but that kind of leads to a lot of shells coming into him initially.
Well, he's taking the brunt of the damage here. Haiba and Diplomat are kind of left alone, but Deha is taking already half of his hit points. I don't know if this is the push that Oops were looking for. They're not doing the damage, which they really need to do. Milosh is now coming from the side, going back on towards the cap. Deha needs to back off. I don't think they can continue pushing this.
Milosh is coming in a back here. They're gonna stop, I think, and they're gonna pressure the cap because they spotted Isna on the other side.
Ooh, Milosh here, nice connection on towards the side of Haiba. We're struggling a little bit with the gun depression. The HP is all even between these teams, but the thing that's going for them, Spoink actually takes a massive amount of damage. Kamil goes down. Spoink needs to be careful. Milosh is now pushing from behind, and he's going to be the crucial playmaker. These mouses, they need to stay alive, and finally they're doing the damage. Haiba's probably going to be the first one to get focused, but Diplomat is in front of him. Nice shot from Deha to claim that kill. He actually goes down towards Stairs. Milosh now from behind. It's an edge. It's so close, Mojo. Who's ahead right now?
They must kill Diplomat before Stefan and the other Clippers reload, because once they do, they're just gonna wipe out entire Oops.
Milosh can just kill him. The mouses need to refocus their attention on towards Stefan. The full HP autoloader. Milosh with the kill here, but he's getting clipped from the side. Stefan actually overextending, goes down towards the one-shot, gets the kill on the way out, but it's 2000 HP versus 1600. Nexus has all of its points in the open. Stefan misses, which is crucial. He distracts him, gets him on the second shot, and Kazna crew narrowly edge ahead once more.
If Spoink managed to pick up Stefan now, that would probably be a game for Oops. But I don't see it happening anymore. They have two mouse tanks, they're in attack, and Kazna has Nexus to rotate with and play around with and clip them out.
Much we said about it. Ghost Town is the kind of map for these instant decisions, and Kazna crew just a little bit more on point. So much HP lost for Oops and bad pushes as Nexus gets insane. Silence picks up Stefan, but Silence is the last one standing. And Mojo, this push onto Haiba and Diplomat, they sacrificed so much for it.
But they did it for a reason, because they knew the Clippers were in reload, because they were picking up Camille, and Spoink took so much damage. So they knew, we must do something now. We must take out these mouse tanks. But they just after that, they didn't manage to defend themselves well against Stefan and Nexus.
Spoink did not need to take 1.1k.
No, he didn't need to die also like this in the middle of the road, but
I don't know why
he was.
Stefan was spotted. Why was Spoink driving through there? Maybe somebody told him that Stefan was on reload.
If he did, that would be a very bad info, and I don't think Mayland was the one focused by Stefan, and he knew how many shots he took. He would never say something like that.
Well, then there was a mistake there by Spoink by driving in the open, first losing 75% of his HP and then losing his entire life. There's a Diplomat doing the damage from the mouses, but Mojo Isna actually in that AMX30 doing 3k, which is super crucial as well.
There's 4k damage and some blocked, but I'm more interested in one thing. Well, Haiba blocked 1500 and Diplomat blocked around 2000 damage there. So that was a neat moment that kind of held off Oops guys from winning instant.
Yeah, Spoink should have done more with his bad shot here. 1.8, he could have done a lot more. It could have been crucial for his team. In the end, the little bit more experience from Kazna crew seemed to help him a lot when it came down to it. The shooting was better as well.
Yeah, Stefan didn't have that much damage, but it was 2 kills and it came in critical moments, because if he didn't pick up Mayland, let's say, for a moment, he would die. He would die for sure, and then we have a tank less, and then Spoink would be just free to roam around and
Yeah,
start killing them.
Kamil also was on the other side, and Yzna picked him up for free. Could have been a lot of things done there, especially with the cap being open again. They didn't know Yzna left that position, but they could have expected it. Miloš also a little bit slow to come from behind, went into the cap first. It's a few things that could have been done slightly better at the very least.
Pretty sure that Kamil actually, yeah, he took 4 shells. I'm pretty sure that Nexus and Stefan did the connections and that Yzna just picked him up and finished him off. But that remains in the past. The fact is the entire first map is lost for Oops, and the next map is Ruinberg, a map we know Oops must prepare something special because they played it horrific during the season.
It remains to be seen, Mojo, because like you said, a terrible track record for them. I mean, they haven't even played it that much, so it comes down to this. They had some time to prepare, and we'll have to see what is the best they could come up with in that time.
14% win rate out of 7 games played, that's understatement. I think this is the worst track record of all the teams in any map.
Well, Mojo, we're gonna have to find out if they can bring the pain to Kazna crew as we move into Ruinberg. Kazna on the attack with 5 bad shots, a mouse and a need 50. But Oops, very, very heavy on the defense, Mojo.
Oh, this is a really fast lineup here by Kazna. Surprising even to see something like that, because they were usually playing something like capping trips, which can they still do with 50-50M. But look at the aggressive approach here. Haiba with mouse just sniping through the middle and everyone else pushing the lower side. This is something we've seen before.
There's a Nexus are kind of in the open here. I don't know what they're going for, but they're taking a lot of damage. Already 2 shots taken, well, in total. But Spoink and Kamil's been spotted out in the north, and this might give Kazna crew the overmatch they're looking for on that 0 line.
If Insane falls and if they manage to take off the 0 line here, but there is still Silence and Deha are there in mouse tanks. It takes so much to kill those, and buttshots are really not best when you want to brawl them.
Kazna has only one option. They need to make a play, Mojo, because Haiba, he's done. He's done and dusted. What is the play Kazna has to make right now?
They need to Zerg rush it and maybe go for the center street, pick up Spoink, and just keep on going.
Well, they're trying to do the pain on towards Miloš in the 1-1-3. Spoink pushing towards Haiba. He's getting clipped by him, but Spoink needs help. He can't clip Haiba by himself. All the batches are peeking in the middle. Miloš is taking the brunt of the pain, but he's still alive right now. They're pushing over Kazna crew with these bad shots. Mailand's gonna be the next one. Spoink is getting wrecked by Haiba. In the meantime, he's the flanking. Mailand blows up, and Kazna crew, yes, they've taken down 2 tanks, but the HP is still massively in favor of Oops, who need to make some kills right now.
Oh, what a brilliant game here. 3 guys down from Oops. Super risky action here from Kazna. I think Kamil will actually be able to pick up mouse on Haiba, but let's see, will the rest of the guys be able to do the counter-attack?
Well, we'll have to see if Silence can do something, because the bad shots are dispersing, they're running everywhere, and now it's just 2 mouses, a 1-1-3 and a T-54, and the bad shots are swinging around them left, right, and center. Haiba is still alive. Kamil bounced the shot. He's going to take one more for that. Haiba holding on by dear life. He gets one more connection, but Oops is in trouble, Mojo, because these bad shots will poke from left, right, and center.
There is some advantage here for Oops, 2000 damage, but as we said, guns in the game, and Kazna has 2 more of those. Kamil is pretty much pinned down in the center. He cannot go anywhere from here, and it's all about if Insane falls, they will have no eyes anymore. There will be just 2 mouses and Kamil locked down in the center.
Insane's in trouble against Dur, because Durs is pushing towards him. Insane's a 2-shot, Durs is a 2-shot as well, but he's in a bad shot. He might do 1 more shot of damage, but then he will go down. Durs needs 1 more on Insane. He actually didn't connect. Durs has only 1 more shot. Insane might actually be able to get the kill, but they've lost Kamil in the meantime, and the HP, Mojo, it's in favor of Kazna.
Insane plays here 1-on-1, but this is not the only battle here. Nexus will fall to these mouse tanks because he's managed to get flanked by... Oh, look at this!
The damage on towards Deha is just too much. They didn't get the kills that were needed. Insane's in a 1v1 here, but Kazna crew with all the advantages. Diplomat from behind, and they have outplayed Oops in a spectacular fashion, as Diplomat might be able to get the kill here 1-on-1 against Silence. Durs gets Insane. Silence the last man standing, and it's already going to be a 3-0 lead here for Kazna crew as Vetso gets the final kill.
Unbelievable. Kazna smelled blood here. Super risky play, super light play, relying only on one thing: find a weak spot in defense of Oops and press it as hard as we can, because there will be no second chance, and they did it so marvelous.
Oops is off sync right now, Spoink pushing in towards Haiba without the support from Kamil, losing most of his HP, even going down, and then the mouses not being able to help Miloš and Mailand, who were left alone again, and then not picking up kills, Mojo. In this kind of push, the most important part is to kill something.
Yes, I really expected when they pushed on 1-1-3s, yes, 1-1-3s will die, but the guys from the sides will focus out the mediums one by one and not let them run away. But they managed to run away on like slither of health. Like one shot here, two shot guy here, and they all ran away, managed to reload their clips and come back in the game. You can't have that. You can't have that.
They needed to kill 2 of them, at least. And if the other ones were full HP, it wouldn't have mattered, because they would have had 2 mouses. But like this doesn't work out for them. Diplomat there doing a massive amount in his E50, and Hyba being allowed to do much more than he should have been in that mouse. If Spoink and Kamil push correctly.
Oh, Hyba out-survived all the possibilities there. I mean, he survived several waves of Oops attacks, I would say.
Yeah, Miloš not having the time of his life together with Melan. Spoink also, I mean, pushing in without Kamil, taking a lot of damage. Just feels like the team's a little bit off sync right now, and they need to take a moment to breathe, relax, and talk about the next round, because 4-0 down in the LAN finals is not going to be something easy to recover from.
No.
If it goes to that 4-0.
If it goes to that, but they're going on offensive side now, and we do know that Oops actually at the moment holds the record of 0% in attack on Ruinberg, while Kazna is quite decent.
But you don't say that.
Caster curses all the way.
Caster curses all the way. Well, it seems like the teams are getting ready for the second round, Mojo. Predictions again.
Unfortunately, I think Kazna will take this one. They really do look calm. Most of them are playing well, with 1 or 2 exceptions, and they're holding their ground. But what Hyba said in interview in the start, it kind of struck me. It does look like they achieved some team balance. So they maybe not have as much star players anymore, but they do look more synced, which is far more important.
Yeah, Union and the team mentioned by Hyba, and the Union seems to be working out so far as we head into the second half on the Ruinberg. Lineups, Mojo, very light for Oops.
Very light here, but every team we've seen today play on Ruinberg unexpectedly played so far, trying to get really fast games in attacks. Kazna playing with FV heavy, we know how brilliant sniper that is and what he can do unless he gets approached.
Betzo's going to be playing that one. A lot of pressure on him to perform. Silence and EMX50B spotted out. Yisna in the T54 lightweight, pushing across the 0 line, and that's going to be the first job here for Oops to take down that T54, and maybe a 1-1-3 for the side score. And Melan already taking some damage, but they're going to push straight over.
Stefan is going after the T54 light, but he's just played a cooldown. He knows if he goes more, he will get deleted. He's under pressure even like this.
It doesn't matter, Mojo. He's still going to get deleted. 2 more shots on towards him will take him out. 1 more shot on towards that 1-1-3. They lose Melan, but they kill Stefan. An even trade.
This is an even trade. Kamil though has a dead Amorek. Isna will fall next, and there with Billy Eyes. Diplomat has to push in to keep any kind of pressure, because Kazna must keep them spotted to stay in the game.
Well, Diplomat pushing down now as well to try and keep control over that 0 line. Insane taking a lot of damage. He needs to be careful in his tier 9 bad shot. They need him alive. In the meantime, there's still 2 tanks from Oops out of the fight here, Mojo, in the middle. How are they going to use those?
They need to go and start fighting. They need to approach those buildings and start to get into the Kazna's face. Unless they do that, these guys will just die out.
Diplomat making a little bit of a mistake there, overextending, peeking out too far, taking damage in return, but so does Miloš. So far, so good for the side of Oops. They're doing well, they're holding on, and now they're pushing on towards Hyba with Decha and Silence. Silence starting to clip, needs a few more to connect. First bounce there, not good. Insane goes down in the meantime. Hyba getting flanked. Silence needs to connect every single one of those, but he's going to go down in return. At this moment in time, they need to kill the 0 line. They've lost Silence. Again, Kazna crew edging ahead.
I don't think this is really going well for Oops. This was a massive mistake here, committing so much resources on Hyba, while in reality they should have pushed along the line into the buildings up in Kazna tanks. Look at this. Decha is getting demolished now by the guys from the up.
Yeah, Decha is not going to fare much better than Silence did. Hyba on the 1-on-1. Decha bounces. Hyba is going to come around the corner to try and finish him off. And then Oops will be left with 3 tags, Mojo. It's looking like a 4-0.
Yes, this is exactly what we were afraid of. And Oops is going down with a landslide here. They need a tiebreak or whatever to recover themselves. I really think so.
This is not looking good for Oops. Kazna crew. It looked hard for them in the beginning, but Diplomat pushing down 0 line really turned the game in their favor.
This is something that was actually expected. He knew that he must do it because all of those clippers, most of them were in reload, so he needs to keep them spotted so other guys can snipe. Also, Hyba coming down on the corner. Okay, I expected Decha will stay there and hold him 1-on-1, and at least the 50 bits, Silence will just push up and keep the pressure on the other tanks. Shoot maybe Diplomat in the back, pressure the guys up so the clippers can have some breathing space. But no. Going around the corner there, knowing that all of the heavy tanks from the upper village can shoot, you pretty much deleted him from the game, and any chance Oops had for a survival.
Perhaps even better, Mojo, to pull back at one point like they did and go for the other base, but not working out for them whatsoever. Losing Meland in the trade was fine. Killing Yizna was also fine, but then the push in the middle, Silence and Deja could have done so much more with those tanks.
I think they needed that mouse in the middle. He should have been there.
Yes.
But 50B, his play was all wrong.
Well, it's just Kamil against 5. It's possible. Everything is possible if you just believe, but Nexus is coming for him.
In esports, it's not like a Kolobanov. That's like a, I don't know, do you have a medal for 2 Kolobanovs in a row?
They needed to kill Stefan just a little bit quicker so they could do the damage on Diploma when he peeked on towards Meland.
I mean, honestly, Stefan did a good thing because he didn't try to push on all the way because that would expose him even more. So they did pay a price for killing him. Isne fell really fast after that, but he had no saying in that. Of course, being like tank, it's easy to pen him with the tier 10 mediums. But then again, we are talking about the after reaction from Oops, which was not in the place.
Nope, and as Vetsto closes out the final kill, that's 4-0 for Kazna crew, and Oops perhaps need to call a timeout.
Not something we could expect. I mean, Oops even picking Ruinberg here over some other maps here that are banned, like we don't play steps here. I don't think we can see... what else? Cliff? Oh, Cliff is next one. But they are not playing steps for sure, which is something that really surprises me.
Oops don't seem to be talking that much to each other right now. They need to take a breath, relax. I mean, 4-0, it's a mountain to climb, but it's not impossible.
I really don't know how will they come back in this game. Honestly, I've seen Kazna come back once in the season. From the 4-1, they were losing. But already, as I said, they are kind of seasoned team. Vetso definitely playing better on a heavy tank than on a medium so far, because in the last game he did like 200 damage.
153.
Yeah, 183. But this is something more suited for him.
Yeah, the boys from Oops needed to do a little bit more damage on Stefan so they could help Mainland against Diplomat. But it is what it is, Mojo. I hope they stay calm, because it's not looking good for them right now.
The thing is, the maps coming ahead now are a big problem for them. Cliff is a hard map to take 2-0. It's really hard. So the map after that will be Murovanka, which is really well played by Kazna. How do you take 2-0 from a team that plays it so well? And they need to take 2-0s now. It's not staying in a game.
Yes, of course.
One is not even an option
Well, I mean,
anymore.
they can win one map 1-1, but then they still need to win 2.
Then they need to win everything else. That's not the best chances of them all.
Well, I don't know, Mojo. We'll have to see. I mean, Cliff was a good map for Oops during the season.
Just decent.
Well, they had a lot of just decent maps.
Yes, that's the unfortunate problem here. I think they're under a humongous pressure now at the moment, because this result is not giving them any breathing space. They cannot really think. They must go for win everywhere, which leaves you to really dire position. Like they might pressure themselves like go hard and try to do some reckless things.
Well, I hope they don't, obviously. Cliff is a map where I think they could possibly win it 2-0. Remains to be seen, obviously. Lineup's going to be a lot of bad shots, pretty much. To be surprised with any other picks. Double E50 for Oops. It's not the AUSFM, it's just the E50 because they have 5 bad shots.
Yes, it's not AUSFM, it's E50 tier 9s they are playing. We've seen them used in strong pushes. They are really good on armor, DPM. They can soak up a lot of shells, and they can do quite a lot of damage in the process.
Haiba Nexus getting spotted out there in their bad shots, crossing over. Miloš lets off a shot on the move, not connecting. Deja also trying, but no cigar. They're trying to do the climb in the meantime. Silence is playing over there against Durs. Will they make it? We'll have to find out.
Durs is pretty much alone here, but he pinned down Silence. Look at his shooting. He was always a really great sniper. They will know he's in reload quite soon also.
They will know he's in reload soon. Did they get to climb Kamil? That's the question.
Isne is trying to spot the lower 1-2 line there and see is there any opening for him to shoot them in the back, but he should know that they're monitoring it and that someone will shoot him if that happens.
Well, he will get the position during his T49 and spot that entire side. Now, Oops, what do they need to do to get out of this situation where Kazna crew has a lot of control over the map?
Well, they need to get control from the other side, where they obviously don't have tanks that's toward the 2 cap, but they need to leave enough tanks to cover each other. Because when you play this kind of game, even if you play 15 on 15, losing one tank on some critical position can really cost you game. Here, much easier. If one of these guys just falls for free, they will just collide, all of them.
Look at the damage Milosh is taking in his E50 though. Stefan clipping out towards him. Milosh is on one shot, one more shot will do the job. That is not a good start for Oops. Milosh, this low HP, it's going to expose him for the rest of the game to come.
Even if he stays alive, I mean, a dead commander, a dead gunner, so you can't even use Jack of all trades anymore. That gunner is really dead now for sure. No help from the commander there.
But in the meantime, Kamil has climbed up though. He was in a position, but they've lost so much HP on Milosh in return for this that I don't know that it was worth it to hide that he was up.
Kazna actually smells blood here. You can see they're composing themselves, they're gathering themselves, and they will try to pressure more on these E50s. And
well,
there you go, Milosh is down.
Milosh is already dead, and now Deja getting clipped by Diplomat as well. Kazna crew taking advantages, but Diplomat paying heavily for this one as well. But they have removed the tier 9, made the other one pretty much a one-shot.
Yeah, I would say this is a really good trade, because Diplomat, even with a slither of health, he can just go in some sniping position and still cover his teammates really well. While these E50s in low HP, they're useless now. You can't use them to push anything anymore.
Kamil just facing off against Stefan in a one-on-one. And actually, Kazna crew has left the eastern side of this map open this entire time. Oops has not used it.
Yeah, Kazna did it deliberately because they knew E50s are slower and they pressed that opportunity. They pressed it, they took the positions they wanted, and they got the cross shots on Oops because they guessed that Oops will just send them toward the middle. Oops is not playing the best of the mind games in this match.
No, they're just not playing that well in general, to be honest, looking at it. Kazna crew taking an advantage in every single map so far.
And you can't say even that Kazna showed something specific in this match. It's just like Ting in the last. They're mostly waiting for less experienced opponent to hand themselves.
Well, if Spoink and Melan get spotted out here, they need to be careful as well. Thurs takes the connection there from a bad shot. He will know that there's two of them because of the amount of shots landing towards him. Spoink, Melan now spotted out. Does Kazna crew react to this?
They will push the other side, I guess. Because if they have two butchers there, they should just pin Kamil from the lower side of the map. And Isne is, I think, just going to do that.
Isne is starting to make his approach around on towards Kamil. He might get a big connection onto the back of that bad shot. Let's see what Isne can do. He's actually driving against the rock. He's starting to get clipped by Kamil. Isne! That snapshot not working out that well in his favor. That was weird.
Who put that mountain in front of Isne to get chipped on? But still, he will be a huge problem for Kamil now because he will get him spotted all the time. Kamil cannot even turn a gun to shoot anyone else anymore.
Well, Silence has dropped off in the meantime and he's going to claim the kill against Isne. He does, but now Vetso, Nexus and Stefan are starting to relocate over there. They might try to go get the overmatch against Silence, who's left alone. Vetso is pushing towards him. Let's see what Kamil can do to help him though, because Nexus is pushing towards Kamil at the same time. They're trying to take the overmatch here. Silence is on reload. Nexus, this is a little bit of an overextension though. He goes down towards the one shot, but he's alive. They lose Silence in the meantime towards Stefan. Kamil's still alive, but he's going to fall quickly. Shortly after, there he goes, he's down. 4 tanks left standing for Oops versus the 6 of Kazna crew.
Steady hand of Vetso there, using really well opportunity Nexus made, because Nexus in his seemingly suicidal push just bought time he needed so he can take out one and another butchert after that. And this will definitely be a victory for Kazna. I don't see, I mean, Insane and Spoink might carry it, but it's gonna be super hard.
Well, it's a 4v3. The HP still even. Insane. If you can do some damage towards any of the tanks from Kazna crew, it'd be important because he's the only one with anything to work with for his team. One shot towards Stefan. Nice connection. Won't get the second one. Haiba, no, Nexus gets spotted out over there.
Spoink is possible one shot now with this 407 HP, so he will need something to save him a bit. Vetso is picking up kills left and right in this map.
Well, Vetso picking up his third, coming in with his full HP. They realized Insane was out of the fight, and now he's the only one left standing. And yeah, that is not good for Oops. I mean, 5-0. They're just not playing good, Mojo. They're just not up to form with Kazna crew.
And this is the problem now. Insane is more or less giving up, although there is a couple of guys here with the one shot. I just don't think he sees the way out of this one. And this is 5-0. How do you come back in a match like that?
Usually you don't, Mojo, but for the sake of the finals, let's hope they do. Because that's 5-0 for Kazna crew. Oops, still not on the board. Not what we expected whatsoever from this match. I think a lot of us had tiebreaker in mind.
I really thought Oops will bring some kind of a more progressive tactics here for us to see. and better planned, because we've seen them do super, let's say, aggressive plays during the season, but sometimes the parts were not ticking and they were just not finishing them properly.
You know, also like Miloš during the season, crucial player at these finals, hasn't had a single good game yet.
No, this is really surprising, because even in the last final he played with Utopia, he played really well. Always well on single shooters. Like we were always mentioning him, how he's one of the guys in the season who almost every game plays single shooters, and almost every game you can find him on the top of the board. But he's nowhere to be found this game.
No, man, he's not in the first 7 either. He is on lost position with 0 damage after 3 shots.
Unbelievable there. I mean, I can't say I even blame him, because tactics from the start, Kazna just took them out, played super aggressive. This is something we've seen Kazna do in defense when they see slower tanks from the enemy. They pushed over that middle and they tried to establish their dominance, which they did really well now. Isna could have connected a bit more there, he had really good chance, but it wasn't a crucial part of the game.
Not sure why he was in third person for that shot, but we shall never know, as Oops and Kazna getting closer to the second half here. And right now, right here, at this moment in time, Oops needs to win this round, at the very least, to start something, because going 6-0, not going to happen after that.
Cliff defense here. Oops can of course do it. They were doing it rather well during the season. We all know a bunch of games that Melan play with TVP really helped them a lot. This is a standard lineup they usually use with Bachat's TVP 49 and so on. So we will see will they stick to that. But mentality now, Kazna just has to hang on to the game and win. They don't really have to go all in anywhere.
No, they don't have to push it anymore, but double mouse and an RT for Kazna crew.
Well, that's calling it for a test and the limits. What do you do with those 2 mouses? I mean, if they push them toward the center, we've seen a couple of attempts, it just doesn't work, so 1-2 line should be the logical one.
Well, for now, they're just all just sitting in the base, Mojo, aiming perhaps at that E6 position.
You think they will try to kill
Yes.
anyone who's trying to boost up on a mountain, but Oops is doing something completely different. They are being aggressive and sneaky.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. They are aiming directly towards that. You think it's going to work out, Mojo?
I think there is a chance for Oops to pin them down, and if they keep them down, they really don't have to attack them. Who cares about mouses if they're down?
Well, the mouses are still down, and now 4 tanks flanking around the side. Are they going to keep pushing, Mojo, or are they going to hold here, you think?
If I were them, I would really not push anymore, because if you don't see the enemy, you know enemy is in the bushes waiting for you somewhere. So yeah, you may push 1 tank to spot them, but that's about it. Everyone else should just hang back and wait.
Yeah, perhaps they should stand the spotter. Stefan is in that position over there, though. Just very annoying for anybody, because he's not able to get pushed from that side where Oops is.
High buy spotted now, so is the other mouse here, but there is no people available to shoot them yet.
The damage being taken here is significant, though. Yisna actually got blind shot even, down to 171 HP, but Vetso Stefan taking a significant amount of damage as well on towards their bad shots, and it's what Oops needs to make the autoloaders lower HP.
And Stefan is rather safe here, we know that, but Vetso is getting demolished here.
Vetso taking so much damage in the early stage of this game. Stefan, is he safe? I think he's fully safe. He should be.
He should be, unless Oops gets control of the other corner where the mouses are, then he will not be 100% sure for sure. Well, that sounded wrong.
The damage that's been taken, look at him. Another shot taken, trading. Stefan needs to be careful in this position. I don't think he can trade.
I don't know what kind of game are the Kazna playing now, but it does look to me they're more playing with the minds of Oops than the game itself, because they're just working on option that Oops is just gonna suicide on them.
Kamil here in the T49 with the small gun as well. Hyba Diplomat have taken the 1-2 line though. And now the question remains is what are you going to do with these mouses? I mean, they could push them straight across the center to force Oops to shoot them.
There is no other option for them. They need to make them play. They're splitting forces with mouses, going left and right. Okay, that's not something I had in mind. But I guess Diplomat will keep pushing and Hyba will just play cooldown from here and wait for the remainder of the team. But still, so much HP lost on the Bachat, even if the mouses establish themselves. they still need to play with the fast tanks. Fast tanks are the ones that carry the games on the cliff. Mouses, yeah, they can provide you some positioning, but that's about it.
Well, Kazna needs to do something in this round as well with the artillery piece. We haven't seen it come to any effect whatsoever, and I don't know, Mojo, having Vetso this low HP and Stefan this low HP leaves only 2 autoloaders that are capable of going anywhere for the side of Kazna.
Could have to be a huge mistake done by Oops here for them to lose the game, because they have the positions, they have the higher ground, most definitely, and they need to focus fire now. So the danger is when if they focus fire on a mouse and they bounce a lot of shells, the counterattack by the 4 Bachats from Kazna could be lethal, but they have 2 of them, as you said, on really low HP. So some of the Oops guys will for sure save a couple of shells just for that moment.
Yeah, it also depends what kind of ammunition type they have reloaded right now in order to deal with these mouses. I wouldn't be surprised if at least 1 or 2 of them have heat ammunition loaded and ready to go.
Well, they're in no rush here. I think they already did what they needed. They took a lot of HP down from Kazna. They bought a lot of time, and they should do something that they should have done in some of the games. Just sit and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and Spoink trying to climb the mountain here. He's making it look more difficult than it actually is. He will get up rather quickly, but that's 2 tanks on the hill. And what do you think about the positions of Oops? Do you like the fact that they've pulled back after the initial gain they got?
That was the smartest play they could actually do, because staying and being shot by Arty or crossfired by mouse tanks, this is not something you need. This is something that Kazna would need. And being back and being ready to counterattack with fast tanks they have, this is the real play they always should do.
Spoink has managed to climb up the mountain now in his Batchat. Milan in the back lines. There we go. This position from Oops and Mojo, they have completely abandoned the 1-2 line. They do not think Kazna crew is going to make a play down there.
They cannot even challenge the 1-2 line, because if they left anyone down, he would just die. He would be open feeding ground for the Bachats of Kazna, because Kazna is dominating that part of the map because of the mouse tanks. You cannot challenge mouse tanks point blank.
Well, the mouses are starting to push across now, making their way across the middle. But Oops is not giving them anything to shoot at right now. Insane is the only one spotted, and he's going to go save. Now what did the mouses do after this?
Well, they will have to play the cooldown here, establish their dominance, as we said, and then try to push the Bachats to separate themselves so other Bachats from Kazna can do something about it. But it does look like Kazna actually wants to play a bit more passive and just let them try flank mouse tanks into the Deja!
Takes 1.1 for his trouble, goes down to 96 HP, and the HP lead Oops took in the beginning has now gone completely away, and Arty gonna start priming. Arty, as I said, Deja is no more!
What a mistake to make. What to say here. Deja picking against mouses, yes, you can play some slight cooldown, but those tanks are precise. They can shoot on the move. They're so slow, it's almost like they're standing still when they're shooting.
Well, Silence gets spotted out in his Batchat as well in the back lines. He needs to go and spot it as Diplomat starts climbing the hill in his mouse, and there's nothing or nobody to even stop him from doing this.
This is what I wanted to say from the start. Like, you have so many fast tanks on Oops. When you see mousings committing somewhere, you gather those mediums and you attack elsewhere where the mediums are. You take out the mediums, you don't care about mouse.
Well, here we see Deja again trying to do the damage he could as Arty comes in and removes him from the game. 1-2 line counter play would have been a lot better for the side of Oops. Milosh now in the open as well. Now they're kind of stuck in this area, Mojo. Can they hold on for 3 minutes is the question.
Well, mouse tanks are certainly not the fastest ones, but the HP is starting to grow, worrying for Oops at the moment. And one moment, Kazna will just push with Diplomat over that hill, and he will push those mediums, and everyone else will push down.
Look at the damage the mouse is not taking. Milosh bouncing a full clip on towards him pretty much. Kamil finally getting some shots on the T-49, but they're trading so much HP for this. I don't know, Haiba is Amorak, yes, but they're gonna lose all their clippers for this.
And they're gonna lose all the shells, so where the clippers from Kazna come, more importantly, they will not be able to defend themselves.
Diplomat on the hill, trading with the Batchats from Oops. He's taking a lot of damage himself as well, and Oops is starting to do what they're supposed to do, and that's the damage on towards him, but Durst is going to be a factor from behind. If he manages to climb up at one point, Silence now takes a shot from Diplomat. Insane has only one more, it's not enough to kill him.
And there is still Art in play, let's not forget that. If he removes someone from the game, it's going to be GG. 2 minutes here cap is not a question, it's just how much damage can Kazna do. Can they do enough damage on time? Because they have all the advantages they need.
Well, they've just removed Silence, they've just removed Kamel as well, rather quickly. Oops, trying to hold on as best as they can. Yes, Durst takes a shot from the back lines, but thanks from Oops, they're getting surrounded, Mojo. 1 minute and 40 seconds is all that remains for Kazna to close out
Great
this round.
play by Durst here on the lines. Yes, he has only 2 more shells, but he knows he needs to keep them and do the damage on these guys. Diplomat is also on really low HP, same as Kazna, but Nexus, he might actually pressure down.
Well, Stefan and Nexus will probably pressure on towards Spoink, but Spoink has Insane in support, but it's 3v2. Diplomat needs to be careful though in his mouse, sorry. Meyland's gonna go push towards Haiba. Haiba gets 1 more shot out. Vetsu might get one on towards the side of Meyland as well. No, he misses. Good play coming out there from Meyland. In the meantime, we have the counterplay on the top. Diplomat crashes himself towards Spoink, and now Insane left alone against Stefan and Nexus. Insane needs to drop off, but he cannot as Nexus gets Insane. Milosh is on the run. 55 seconds, and I think it's not gonna be enough for Oops. They can't run away far enough away from Kazna crew as they converge on the tanks of Oops. Milosh needs to make a miracle run faster than Usain Bolt ever did, and it's not going to work out. It's going to be 6-0 for Kazna crew, Mojo.
Still not done, 39 seconds. Milosh is still alive, Meyland is still alive and reloading. Vetso is chasing him. Let's see, will Milosh be caught by Nexus? This will be more or less one-on-one in this moment.
Milosh gets the first shot but doesn't connect it. Nexus didn't connect his either. Nexus has reload advantage on towards Milosh. Nexus is still getting first. I think Nexus is out of ammo though. Milosh picks up the kill. 18 seconds, and actually it seems like I was wrong, Mojo. Meyland gets Vetso another kill for him, and Milosh needs to hold on for 10 more seconds to win this game. Stefan flipped himself, I think, because he just died. And with 5 seconds left, just Kazna and just 114 HP separate Kazna crew from match point.
What a heart attack game here, and I live to see a mouse, Rem, a Bachat on the top of the hill.
Oh.
I never saw that even in randoms, man.
I really thought Kazna had it, but Stefan flipped himself, I think, Mojo, because he died. He was alive, which means he overturned his vehicle and died because of the time running out. If he and Nexus could have closed out the kill versus Milosh, perhaps a different thing would have happened.
Unbelievable amount of HP or lack of it that
Meyland
actually
saved them.
survived. Yeah, Meyland push on Haiba, going around the corner, literally saved them. Bought them the time they needed, the ground they needed to run away while they're reloading.
Well, Mojo, that was one hell of a 6 rounds so far. Let's hear from the analyst desk and see what they got to say about it.
Well, that was an absolutely nail-biter. What a hell of a finale to a round. It was looking clearly that it was going to be perhaps 6-0. We were talking about it coming into the break, how important that was going to be for Kazna crew. And well, Oops just in there with the skin of their teeth there for that last round.
It was always going one way or the other. You can never tell who was winning at any point in that round, really.
Now, we actually just saw that nail-biter there on Cliff. Let's actually have a look at the post-battle stats. We can see top damage. We can see who got the kills there. I think Meyland managed to pick up a triple kill there at the end. Absolutely vital for his team.
It's actually interesting to see if the damage from Diplomat includes the ramming damage he did, because he did around 1k ramming damage on Spoink in that last second. That could have won them the game.
From the hill, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So a mouse on top of the hill being used to ram a Batchat. New meta that we're seeing there, Scarium.
That was amazing to watch, but he had a pretty free run up there because there was no Batchats from Oops over on the left side of the map or anyone to actually contest the mouse climbing up, so he had all the time in the world to climb.
Yeah, Oops, you know, they took the map control in the beginning. They did really good. They took Vetso down really low. They got Stefan really low. They even shot RT blind once with the T49. But then in the end, you know, they ran all the way back and they got stuck in one small corner.
Yep. Now looking back to the first map we saw, it was on Ghost Town. We're expecting to see a lot of tanks there. Kazna crew actually bringing 5 Mausen with them, and they actually used them extremely well, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They really successfully baited Oops into trying to decap multiple times. It's a pretty standard tactic that we've seen happening pretty often, but it worked. If it worked, no issue about it.
Yeah, and you know, looking at the second round, we can see that Oops, you know, they played with 4 Mouses. They played the defensive side, the attacking side actually, and Kazna played with the old meta. They played AMX 30, you know, they played with the boost, they played for the AMX 30 decapping, and Oops actually played really aggressive. You know, they went for the cap, with RU, with the Batchat, behind the mouse. It was really close, down to 20 seconds, and then actually the AMX 30 from the boost splashed the mouse, and decap the Batchat.
Yeah, they were so close to having that. It looked like it was a perfect blockade. It looked like they had to commit to that. And then after that, we saw silence, whether he went forward, whether he went back. He was getting shot from each side, and it was so frustrating because it looked like Oops almost had it. They almost had a lovely cap bait there on Ghost Town.
Yeah, it was going either way really. Like both teams had a lot of flanking movement happening. I've seen a lot of pincer movement trying to happen from Oops really.
And then after Ghost Town went into Runeberg, where it kind of went crazy at the start. They tried to do that rush into the corner and it didn't work for them. We saw it was, I believe it was Mayland and the Batchat being traded for a 1-1-3.
Yeah, that was on Runeberg attack when actually Oops was attacking. You know, they've worked on that strategy quite hard. Like a little insight, they've worked on that strategy. They've trained against these kind of strategies, and in the end, some small mistakes, you know, make the difference here.
It really should have worked, but then there was also the issue in the middle of Haiba holding up 2 tanks for way too long. They should have killed Haiba probably like 30 seconds to a minute before that for them to actually contribute to the rest of the team.
I think at that exact moment, both of you were saying, silence, go, because
yeah, exactly.
The 50B just wouldn't go.
And then he went a bit too late, so that all of Kazna was aiming already, so when he went, he just lost 2100 HP and did like 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah, 2 out of 4 shots.
Or 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
Yep. Now going into Cliff, it was looking, you know, for Kazna Crew sitting 4-0 up. Great start for Kazna Crew, and I was feeling bad because I said at the start, you know, 7-0 Kazna Crew, and well, you know, almost a cast a curse for me. But then Cliff, what a hell of a match we just got from the, sorry, hell of a map we just got for the 2 teams.
Yeah, and it's funny to see actually because both teams played really aggressively on defense. They both took 3/4 of the map by 1 minute in, and Kazna actually managed to break out of that one, and I think win it, right? And
it's been some really close rounds. So like the scoreline, it's 6-1, but if it's really 6-1, it's like more close matching up these 2 teams.
5-1.
5-1, okay.
Yep. I mean, when it was 5-0, we're like, oh, this is going to be 6-0. We're going to have the break. Kazna have the full memento. They're just going to. I mean, I was if it came here 6-0, I was expecting hyper aggressive Kazna next round. Just like, guys, get us done and dusted, get it over and done with. Enjoy a nice little break before we have to go up against Sting. Now, Oops have got a little bit of momentum on this side, and that match right to the wire, as you can see here in the replay. Both of them missed their first shot, and Nexus only had 2 shots.
It was crucial for Milosh to get the kill on Nexus for them to actually run away and manage to close out the round by timeout.
Yeah, and it's to see that Nexus actually, he only had 3 shots left.
Yeah, missed the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't tracking shot. He couldn't kill Milosh. Milosh also tracked his first shot, and then Nexus was without shots, and Stefan flipping himself.
And in the meantime, Mayland kill, Mayland kill, you know, like carry. And the thing is it was really funny as well. And I'm sorry to bring this up, mate, but Daki was like, it's done and dusted, you know, it's going to be Kazna 6-0, and Emoji's like, not yet, mate. Not yet. It's still possible. And I was like, run, Milosh, run, go his way. And then I actually said, hey, look, Milosh can turn and fight. And it almost went completely wrong.
Yeah, you never know, of course, with Isna, you know, he could have also taken someone out in the end. It was really close.
I can only hope that this win actually gave Oops a morale boost to keep on going and maybe take some rounds back. It's going to be a hard and tough fight ahead of them, but hopefully they'll make it.
The thing I thought was also really funny as well is that when Deka moved out and he got shot, all 3 of us went Deka at the same time, and then you heard Daki Emoji going Deka exact same time.
Because when he went out indeed to peek and shoot on the mouse, he lost 1200 HP, and then just Isna finished him off in the RT.
And we all had the exact same reaction, like, dude, no.
Yeah, that was not very good, but thankfully it didn't cost him the round.
Yep. Now we've had a little break now. It's time to go back to Daki and Mojo, who can bring us in for the rest of this match.
Well, you know, I just giving Mojo a little bit of a time in the spotlight. I was like, I knew Mojo was going to correct me, so I gave it to him because, like, you know.
He was then corrected anyways because he called it when there was a rotation by Melen. But still, super tight round. I would say Melen was the crucial member here. Everyone else was kind of a bystander.
A few crucial moments during that round. I'd say the initial damage done towards Stefan and Vetso. Afterwards, the fact they abandoned 1-2 line, but Deja taking so much damage in his bad shot costed them a lot as well, and just narrowly holding on by time.
The whole tactic by Oops was really questionable because, as I said, when you have so much fast rotational tanks and you keep them as snipers, you are bound to get pinned down because when Mouses get to the brawl distance of anyone, they will outmatch them. They have more armor, their DPM is constant, they will not bounce shells. I mean, yeah, you bounce once in never on Bachat, but
Also,
every
not
time.
forgetting the fact Spoink allowed himself to get rammed by a
mouse
for
on
around.
the top of a mountain,
Yeah.
mate. Come on.
That is not really what we're looking for, but Cliff is over. Murovanka is going to be our next one, and Mojo, if the stats say anything, it's over.
If you were following the stats, then we would say, yeah, Kazna already won because they are far superior on Murovanka, but we did see some really good plays by Oops, also aggressive ones. So I'm hoping to see more of that can bring them their morale back and bring them in a match.
I want a close match, Mojo, so I'm hoping for some plays from Oops.
I would say some of the barbecue issues are probably because of that, but never mind that. Kazna, super strong of Murovanka, really good experience on it since even when it was played in previous formats on tier 8 tanks. They just prolonged it here very well.
So triple miles coming out for Kazna crew with bad shots to follow up. Oops, light setup as well, T57, E50. How will it do versus the Mouses?
In a close combat, not so well, but if they manage to flank them, and Murovanka is obviously map full of the bushes and opportunities for such, yeah, they can play well.
Oh, but look at this, Mojo. 5 tanks from Oops towards the eastern side, and Kazna crew is actually sending 2 Mouses over
This
there.
is exactly what I wanted to say. We've seen Oops try to play like this before, and I was actually expecting that Kazna will send something directly back to try to pin them down.
Well, it does look exactly like that, but the Mouses aren't in position just yet. We have to see if Oops can spot them before the fight starts. If they spot out Yzne, and I think who's the second Mouse there? Diplo? No, Stefan?
This is the thing. Haiba could have ran away earlier if he wanted. He actually is staying as a bait to lure them to the Mouses, to the proximity of Mouses.
Insane is very, very far in this fight, though. Only Diplomat and Milosh are not in it. They need to keep pushing. They need to dodge these Mouses, Mojo.
Mouses will just go now on the left, and that will be a huge problem for them. They will be locked down in these positions, bogged down, you can even say. And Kazna still has a Diplomat on other part of the map that can deal with them.
Yeah, Milosh and Diplomat trying to help their teams now. Spoink pushing in first. There's 4 tanks here for Oops. They have a little bit of an overmatch, but Spoink is on fire, and he's down already, down and out. Finally, they get the kill. Haiba now from the side as well. They're doing the damage towards Nexus, but Oops needs to do more. Haiba in a little bit of an out position here. They lose Nexus as well for Kazna crew. They're going to lose Haiba in a second as well, and this is beautiful from Oops. Yes, they're down on a lot of HP, but they're getting the kills they need. They just need to not overextend.
Yeah, but we need to see what will Stefan now do. He's a single shooter. He will push on them. He might actually take out at least 3 of these tanks.
Decha is in the meantime in a 1v1 with Yzne as well. Stefan gets Kamil. In the meantime, Yzne being clipped by Milosh, and Milosh is not bouncing this time. He'll miss the last one, but Decha is doing the work. He's going to take a little bit of ram damage here. He needs to pick up Yzne, but there comes Durs, there comes Stefan. Like you said, Mojo, they're coming in to make some kills.
This is a problem. Yzne will fall 100% here. But if these tanks here die, if they lose all the batches, they will lose the game eventually.
Ooh, Decha does not connect on towards Yzne. Yzne is about to reload. Decha goes down. And that is the game changer, really, in this round, because Silence made it out. They needed to kill Yzne to just leave Kazna crew with 2 Mouses and a bad 2 Mouses and a bad shot, and they didn't make it happen.
Diplomat managed to actually come close to his team and help them out. And now you have Diplomat and Stefan, who are pushing with full HP, and Yzne, who can still snipe. Durs to cover their flanks. I really don't see a way for Oops out of this one, because Kazna can just park a mouse on a cap now and finish off the game.
There is no way for Oops out of this one as Diplomat closes in towards Milosh, who's been abandoned by his team as Insane and Silence are on the run. Durs is clipping out towards Milosh, who's double-tracked. One more shot to do the job, either from Diplomat or Stefan. It is Stefan. Crucial plays from him this round. It's just Silence and Insane, and Silence is ammo racked and has that engine damage. And Kazna crew looks to put themselves on match point.
It's gonna be a match point 6-1 for Kazna. It's just a matter of seconds. Silence will not even come out of his reload with a broken ammo rack. Insane, a last guy in a light tank standing here. Not a good option against these tanks.
Well, he's gonna go for a swim. Submarine, Subnautic, 1390.
Yellow submarine even.
Yellow sub, yeah, maybe.
It is actually.
Well, I mean, technically it's just a little bit of other colors in there as well, but that's it. Insane chooses the
Some bubbles.
bubbly way out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I think if Decha kills Yzne though, Kazna crew's left with 2 Mouses.
They
and
would
a
still have a chance. They would still have a chance to make a crossfire.
put the,
of
put the
and
1390
then-
in the bushes.
Yes, and then just work on killing Durs and avoiding Mouses all the time, because they cannot handle them. But if they kill Durs and keep themselves mobile, Mouses can be decapped, they can be played around with.
They can
and
be
you
spotted from a long
yes,
distance.
and you can do a lot of things. But like this, Durs surviving crucial moment. Stefan pushing in and taking out low
Yzne
HP
surviving
ones.
as
No,
well?
no. Durs with the budget. He clipped out and ran away. They needed one
if
mobile
Yzna died, Decha would have probably survived as well.
Probably yes. But the crucial part was when they lost all the budgets in the corner, because yes, they did take a couple of the budgets from Kazna, but Durs ran away and Stefan closed
yes.
in and started taking them out one by one.
Yzna and Durs doing a good amount of damage here, but Decha should have arguably closed out the kill. Miloš missed a shot there as well. Decha bounced a shot. Could have gone different, but like you said, Mojo, Kazna seemed aware of the possibility for a quick flank, and Spoink went a little bit over aggressive even.
He really got deleted there, man. Like, not the best day for him, unfortunately, here, and it's costing his team dearly in some moments.
Yeah, it's costing them so much. I mean, Kazna Cruz on match point right now, 6-1. You give them a chance?
Kazna is defending. No, Kazna is attacking. Yeah, Kazna is defending now. So yeah, they have every possible chance here. Muravanka and Oops is kind of tilted. And I don't see how will they just come and steal the game away from Kazna. They have to win it. I don't see it happening.
But they need to win. 5 in a row for tiebreaker, 6 in a row for victory. It's one hell of a mountain to climb, and I don't know if Oops can do it.
I really don't see it happening, because based on these games here, because the only victory they had so far was like inches away from defeat.
Yeah, it was a win by running out of time with 114 HP.
Well, they would win because Yzna was only one alive. If Stefan didn't overturn, then we could talk about a time.
Yeah, true. 10 seconds left before we get into the next one. Mojo, Oops, down and out, or comeback imminent?
I don't see a comeback here.
Mojo, let's try
you
again.
keep the fate, and I'm gonna be a Gargamel here.
I'll stick with Oops in that case. I'll stick with Oops, don't worry. 6 rounds in a row, easy peasy.
Easy game.
Easy peasy. But here we go. Lineups for the possibly last round in this match between Kazna Crew and Oops.
Kazna in defense playing with STRVTD, not something we see super often here. Emil does tell us a story here, because there is only 2 possible positions in defense you can use it. One is on a red line and one is on a corner around the cap.
And that is very true, Mojo. Probably going to be Vetsu playing that one. Yes, he liked to play the ML during the season as well. Nexus aggressively taking that E1 position, spotting out Spoink, and it's a standard start for Oops, Mojo, leaving Decha by himself.
Spoink already spotted here, this time on tier 9 Bachat. I mean, Kazna at the moment is just playing come and get us, guys. They're just waiting for some kind of Oops mistake.
Well, Haiba is going to be the dedicated spotter for the Kazna Crew side, and with the current way that Oops is playing, they need to find him.
Well, Kazna is usually the team that finds the spot as well. Miloš is going super aggressive here because he will, with 6th Sense, trigger any kind of trap, and the rest of the guys are bound to snipe it then. But, of course, we can see that Kazna is nowhere to be found there.
Well, Kazna Crew just holding the 1-2 line. Yzna is actually going to be playing the STRV, the Swede.
Yeah, I believe he actually probably requested the honor, because usually he's a spotter for Kazna, so he should play the highest position, but Swedish pride above all, he needs to play this one.
Oops, starting to clear some bushes, Miloš doing some spotting checks. So they figure out they're not in the early bushes around the houses, there has to be somebody further back.
Need to see now, will actually Miloš be used well? He needs to come in hold down position, but even then I don't think he is able to spot Haiba. And it's going to be interesting to see, can Yzna actually pen the tanks from there, from this position?
Yeah, IS-7 I don't know though. I think it's a little bit too strong even for an STRV.
He would need some elevation that would require him to be on a position where Stefan is probably.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to do much against Miloš, at least. Well, we'll see. Maybe he can prove us wrong, Mojo.
Well, if there is any kind of definite push, then yes. But we know the weakness of STRV is if he gets caught from even the slightest angle, he will get penned. So if he overextends with that STRV to shoot Miloš even a bit, any of these clippers can just end him.
So Miloš doesn't even get spotted by Haiba.
So this is again a tactic that Oops used before, if you remember. Multiple times we've seen them push the lower side and they just leave Decha up completely alone. Decha sitting on A3 this time because a couple of times he was more close to his team on C3 position, you can see there around the hill, but then he is really prone to counter attacks. Like this, he can actually spot them, do the damage and wait out his teammates to help him.
Silence possibly going for a spotting run here. Haiba is playing it very well so far. He's not been spotted out, and Oops team wondering where the spotter is left for the Kazna crew side.
I mean, for a team that usually finds the spotter within 1 minute, when they start shooting, they should know where to position their own spotters.
Yeah, Miloš still blind firing, not finding anything, and this is the rotation coming out. I just don't know. Kazna crew is very heavy, if they can do anything in this 1-2 line.
They have 3 heat shooters, like they have Diplo, they have Stefan, and then they have STRV. So those guys can really damage any kind of pressure from the mouse tanks on the cap. This is good for them.
It seems like a full counter from Kazna crew though, because they know that Oops has pushed across the K line with the IS-7 before, and they have Durs and Kazna set up there.
There is nothing new in these tactics from Oops. This is a recycle of the old things they've done before. And Kazna is positioned against that. Nexus position is critical to defend for Kazna. If Nexus falls easily, then Kazna might fall like dominoes. If he actually stays here, that will be good for them then.
Well, Oops will go for it, Mojo. How would you think their chances are in this one? They have beaten Kazna crew like this, but Kazna crew seem to be very aware and very ready for that possibility.
They have a lot of tanks committed on that side, Oops, which is good for them because they left only Miloš on the other side. He can play cooldown and shoot them in the back if they're trying to retract. But still, it also is a weakness because then they will counter push him with 2 guys. And Isne can still snipe and cover from the position he is on the back of his teammates.
Well, they're starting to group up now, Mojo. Miloš peeking out, not getting spotted. Kazna crew wants him to go, I think.
It's all about Nexus. Like if
really
Nexus
want
falls
him to
cheap,
go.
Oops has a chance.
Melan and Deja starting to make their approach. At least Deja is in the mouse. Melan gets spotted out as well. Let's see how much damage this mouse takes before he gets into the position.
We need to see can Isne even shoot him because I don't think anyone else he will even try.
Well, there comes a shot.
That's E50M.
No connection so far. Nexus still spotting out everybody. Deja pushing up. Deja takes the first shot of damage there. So far so good. I mean, this is acceptable.
Yeah, this is really, really good now. But as you said, like they need to close in on Nexus. Oops should know there is someone there. They didn't spot him yet, but they should guess it by Kazna's position.
Really, they spotted him in the beginning. Yes, they did. They spotted him driving there.
Okay, then he's in a problem.
Well, we'll have to see how it works out because there's a lot of times for Oops waiting for that possibility. Melan now starting to push up as well in his E50. Slowly getting closer. Isne has repositioned. Miloš got spotted out now. Durs is doing the damage towards him. One shot expanded on towards him. Stefan, nice connection. Knocks out Miloš's driver actually.
Unbelievable shot actually.
That is going to be annoying if Miloš wants to push across the K line.
He takes another shot here.
Miloš needs to be careful. Trying to survive. Insane's going to be the first one into 1-2 line. Here we go. This is the push from Oops. Diplomat takes some damage. Melan picking up as well against Diplomat. Some more damage being taken. Insane takes the brunt for his team though. The engine dead as well. He should go down here any second. But Nexus is going to take so much more. Isne kills Insane. They lose Nexus in return. But still, Kazna crew in a good position. But now Oops need to do the damage towards Vetso and Diplomat.
Kazna still an advantage here. But if they lose more tanks without killing anyone, they will be in a problem because Oops will have higher position and they will be able to take them. Let's see what will Durs do. If he takes out some of these guys, Kazna will come back in the game. At the moment, not looking good.
At the moment, it is not looking good indeed. Miloš here trying to play against Haiba. Haiba needs to connect most of his shots to make this count, and he is doing very well so far in the tier 9 bat. One more shot to take down Miloš. Miloš goes safe into a hold-on position. Haiba, one more to pick up the IS-7. He's going to come around. He needs to pick it up clean here. Haiba, first bounce. One more shot available for this tier 9 bat shot. Haiba is in problems, and I think the rest of Kazna crew as well. He actually goes down towards Melan. He took too long to get the kill. Now Melan, Stefan in the one-on-one, but Melan with the advantage. And Mojo, Oops, they've done it again on this side of Moravanka.
This is exactly what we said, man. Durs didn't pay out there. Isne, as an STRV, cannot push them. Stefan is the last guy who can do any rotation, and Melan will pick him up for sure.
Melan will not mess this one up. One more shot on towards the back of that E50. Stefan gets just around the corner, but is just extending his fate by a few seconds as Melan picks up his third kill during this round. Isne and Durs are pushing in though. They're making some kills. Let's see if they can actually do even more than this. Durs now pushing forwards as well. Melan does not connect on towards Durs, and this is crucial, but Kamil from the back lines is there in support. He'll pick up Durs. Isne still doing what he can as well, but he's the last one. And Oops, not going down without a fight, Mojo, but they need a lot more to go to tiebreaker.
This is actually really well. I like the way they played it. They managed to come back from a really dire situation, even with the Milos taking so much damage, but Kazna is still alive on 700 HP. There's all one-shots. If they don't flank him, they might fall.
Well, Kazna needs, he knows he needs to make the play, but there comes Milos with a connection. This should puts it, this puts it winnable for Melan. He's gonna make the peek here in his tank, and he gets the kill. Multi-kill. Multi-kill for Melan, 6-2. A good push there again. They've demonstrated this, and Kazna crew, second time around, still not able to beat it.
Unbelievable, because I thought they will focus fire better around Nexus. They were wasting some shots on Mouse. If you saw IS4 peeking around, shooting there, instead of keeping an aim around Nexus. Nexus was the critical point of their defense, and they didn't kill fast enough on the mediums that were pushing him. They were the guys to be killed. Like, you can deal with those heavies later that are up.
Mojo, you see, this is because I have faith in Oops.
You're a very faithful guy.
You should do the same as me. Believe.
If I start believing, someone will lose immediately, man.
Yes, but we don't know who. But yeah, the damage they're taking on Diplomat was significant. He took 2 shots for 1, and then Kazna here doing a lot in the SRV, actually 3.6, definitely not him to blame. Stefan 3.3 as well. Melan similar, then Deja, Durs, Spoink and Milos. This kind of means that we'll see some issues on the second page, because Kazna crew did do well with their top players.
Yeah, there is some problems there, but of course, I mean, even if Kazna, if Haiba killed Milos on the other side, he will still be a budget on 1 shot, and I think they would pick him up anyways. So
it would have been more annoying, because Meland would have to push Stefan straight in towards Kazna.
Nexus managed to pull off 4 shots, although he was pressed, so you can't really say anything about that. I just honestly think it's the fault of the guys that were covering him. They needed to cover him better and take out at least 1 guy when he falls. Immediately, and then press the others.
Yep. Now going into Mines, Mojo, what do you think are the odds for Oops to pick this up to 0?
Oof. To pick out the both games, this is really hard. Yes, they did manage to take a bit now, but Mines is not known as their best of the maps. A lot of problems there, a lot of rotational problems, a lot of problems with boosts and things like that. Tactically, we need to see, are they actually able to deal with Kazna here. This is also not the best map for Kazna, so there is a lot of possibilities how this will end. The safest way would be to say it's going to be 1-1. 1-1 is a disaster for Oops, of course, and it's something that Kazna would like. So Oops taking a clean win, again, I really don't see high chances, but I didn't see high chances here on Morovanka, and it did happen.
It did happen, and it got very close there as well. But Oops needs this map to 0, so they need to win their defense, and then they need to win their attack as well. We have seen already in the first match that can prove to be difficult. With the right lineup from the defender, it's hard to break through.
It's really hard. I mean, even the best teams like Ding can really flunk it there. But theoretically, after the 17.1, defender is not really in advantage anymore. And Oops is playing a defense. But we've seen the both defenders actually pick up the rounds in the previous match, both Ding and Gohard.
Yes.
So maybe the meta was just too short, you know, before the break came.
Well, we'll have to find out, because we're almost ready to get Mines underway. I'm gonna go with Oops all the way, Mojo, just to counteract you a little bit, you know, that voodoo magic working in Oops' favor.
I don't want to trip them down. I mean, I really like them. I would like them to go more, but reality is harsh, man.
Reality is harsh indeed, but Mojo, here we have it. Mines 6-2 still in favor of Kazna crew. Lineups very, very heavy from Kazna crew. Triple mouse, double E4.
And 1 budget. I mean, they're even playing it heavier than Ding did, if you remember. Like, this is not a setup that Oops can break easily.
Well, we'll see. So far, Stefan climbing on the hill. Does he take any damage for this? Nope, none taken so far. So he actually gets up the 0 line for free.
So Kazna is just playing a fortress here. They didn't even move the RT in a corner. They want to keep it as much safe here because they are afraid if they get chased away that someone just climb and blind shoot it from possible 2 sides. And they would need at least 2 budgets if they really wanted to push an RT on K4, because they would need a person on H1 minimum and someone covering it and so on. So Kazna is just playing trench it up again, like in the last game on Murovanka, and come and get us. They just want that. And they're gonna rely that they will do enough damage in the process. Interesting part here, again, a mouse going here for the water.
Melan takes the connection, going for that E4 bucket from Nexus in the E4. That's gotta hurt. Lost his repair kit as well on the way.
Well, that's just the first blood here. No connection from RT yet, but we know Isna is pretty decent RT player. I would not rely everyone to be lucky all the time.
Well, Spoink could have done better over there, arguably, slightly, but no problem, he can do this again. Insane getting spotted out in the back lines. That is Stefan. Stefan's trying to destroy the house. Might get a connection there. Haiba actually does. 536 taken on Insane. He might get one more from Stefan on the way up. Nope, he goes D-spotted, but now Oops have completely abandoned the 9-0 line, and all of Kazna Crew's guns will be pointing towards the 1-2 line.
Oh my dear god. I mean, this bleeding damage is not really helping. If you lose damage, if you lose HP so easily on the start of the game, while you're still trying to assess where are Kazna tanks, you will not have it when you need it, obviously, when the push starts. Milos is on the island, so they will probably try to do similar tactics like we've seen before, played in a go-hard match. But even that one was really risky and it didn't pay out at the end.
No, I mean, they took 1-2 line, but they've lost failware on the way there, so we'll have to see if Oops can do better than what Go Hard did. Diplomat in that E4, you can see he's just tall enough to shoot over that rock as well. I don't know. I just don't feel like this is going to go well for Oops, Mojo.
Oof. It looks like one of those situations we're just going to push it and try to do the best we can. Deha is going to trigger the cap, I guess, because the RT is on another position, but there is a Vetso with a mouse back. He can just spam HE ammo there a bit. And there is an E4.
Milos already taking the first amount of damage, Mojo, and there comes the push from Oops. Insane crossing over, taking some damage as well, getting tracked. He does not have a repair kit available anymore. We have to see if he can go safe. He's starting to shoot. He's going to go behind the rock. He's going to go safe, but that's not a good position for him either.
You even can't call it safe because he will be connected from some of the angles. Also, Milos is getting pretty much decimated here. Kazna is using Vetso as a shield here. He cannot really get pushed.
Yeah, it's not going well for Oops whatsoever, Mojo, is it?
No, this is a game that Oops will definitely not win. Kazna's Bastion is with almost 5,000, 6,000 HP and counting.
Yeah, I mean, Oops needs to do so much damage right now to even get a foothold in towards this match. They are doing it towards Dursto and his mouse. He goes down towards the 2-shot, so they're getting some sort of connections here. One more shot on towards Durst to pick him up. Silence actually clips him full. That puts it within 2,000 HP from each other, but still, they need to do a lot more, Mojo.
Melan is on one shot, Insane is on one shot, so the only guy that can use his HP effectively is Deha here. With any armor, Kazna will really slice easily through him with 2 E4s and an RT piece. Haiba is more than enough to keep the proxy spot below the hill. And they have more than enough of a crossfire. And especially the most important part is Stefan is unscratched on the top of the hill, covering them all.
Well, Deja is... This is the clipping on towards Durst here, on towards that mouse. Really good shooting, actually.
Yes, this is really decent by Silence, and I'm just afraid it's not enough. And already we lost one more guy.
Well, Diplomat is taking a lot of damage on towards his E4. Yes, Insane went down, but Diplomat goes down towards a one-shot in return, Mojo. It's not over. It's not over whatsoever. He makes a blind connection on towards Silence, though. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta sting. He doesn't know, obviously, but Silence should have expected it.
Yeah, we've seen some Diplo game when he was in Gohard, when he played Grille, so no difference here on E4. Experienced player on tank destroyers and in clutch situations, that's for sure. And again, even if he falls down, let's not forget the guy on the hill, Stefan, with 100% HP and certainly enough amount of skill to play around with these guys.
Nexus now pushing towards the hill with Haiba. A lot of HP between them. Spoing spots out Haiba. Haiba is going to start pushing the hill. Camel's on that one as well, but it's just not going to be enough. Spoing's getting clipped from Stefan from behind. Stefan making them crucial plays from the 0 line. Spoing forced to drop off. Melan trying to do some clips onto the side of Haiba and the mouse, but he doesn't know Nexus is coming as well. Haiba is now taking hill control. And what does Oops do from here?
I don't see a way out. I really don't. I mean, Silence is pretty much pinned down on the island side. He can maybe pick up Diplomat, but these guys, when they run away and Kazna has full control of the hill, they can just put Stefan down and he can go hunting for the low HP guys.
Well, Haiba picks up Melan, talking about those low HP guys. Oops now down more than half of Kazna crew, who looked to put themselves in another LAN finals against Ding. Silence picks up Diplomat, yes, all good and well, but Silence actually gets connected by Yisne and Kazna Crew Mojo. I think they're gonna go for another rematch against Ding.
It's gonna happen for sure. There is no way out of this from Oops. Camille will fall really soon. Deha, only person left here with any HP stuck in the water. I don't think he could even play one-on-one against any of these mouses anymore because he's just out-positioned.
Yeah, Deja full HP, but Spoink and Camille stuck. Vetso shooting HE towards him now as well. They're shooting HE at each other. It's a battle of very, very slow, and Oops, I think Mojo at this point they realize that they're down and out. They're gonna keep fighting to try, but with Spoink and Camille stuck there, Stefan gets Camille. It's just Deja, it's just Spoink. And the rematch we all thought we would see is gonna happen again. We can call it El Clasico at this moment in time because Kazna Crew is gonna go up against Ding one more time.
And we are going to see something there. I mean, Kazna really took Ding so far in the last finals and also on a Challengers Rumble. It was really close games that details kind of decided. And I believe the Kazna wants to seek their chance to take another season after a long time.
Last season they took was in Sofia as Nexus picks up Spoink. Stefan coming in towards Deja to clip him out. First shot on the lower plate. Nice connection there. Needs 3 more to get the claim the kill, claim the scalp of Deja even. And this is going to be it. Kazna Crew going to put themselves in the finals against Sting one more time.